Hello everyone, this is Rebecca Lyddon at the Jai Institute for Parenting, and I have a very special video for all of you to witness today, an example of a real-life coaching session between myself and my colleague Allyn Miller from the Jai Institute for Parenting, and we will be showcasing an example of what supporting a client who is struggling with anger outbursts or yelling and feeling really guilty and burnt out, and how a coach would navigate and support a parent in that way. Please enjoy and share with any parent you know who could be benefited by it.
Hi, Allyn. Welcome. So good to see you.
Hi, so lovely to see you too.
Hi. Yeah, I'm looking forward to our conversation today. And I know you reached out and let me know that you are struggling with some very specific challenges right now in your parenting. So before I get started on my end, I'd love to hear just where you're at, clarify for me the challenge that you're facing, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the thing that comes up again and again is that I keep yelling at my kids, and sometimes it's just like a little kind of like snapping back at them. And other times it's like over the top. Like recently when I was changing a load of laundry and I thought that my kids were playing, and then all of a sudden they're screaming in like big commotion, and I just lost it. And I started screaming at them. Like clearly they must have been doing something wrong and they were interrupting me. So I yelled at them to like, I don't even know what I yelled, but I just made myself louder than they were being.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So there's two parts is what I'm hearing. One is more of those everyday micro moments of just using a tone or using a force in the way that you're communicating that. Can you clarify how are you feeling about snapping at your kids? How is that settling inside of you?
My kids to think that I'm just smiley, happy mommy all
Yeah,
over. Like I'm a real person, right? Like I'm gonna
yeah.
get the patient. But I
Okay.
know the yelling, like the big yelling is just like nobody should see or hear that.
Mhm. Okay, so it sounds like you have some compassion, understanding for your humanity. Sometimes you're going to feel annoyed, impatient, and that's going to come out through your tone of voice or the strategy of communication. And it seems like that's not necessarily where we will be focusing our work together today, because it's more of the like really losing it and being out of control. And
Yeah.
I'm just going to say screaming, not just
Yeah.
yelling. With that,
Yes.
it's
Yeah, like to the point where sometimes afterward my throat hurts
yeah,
because like it
yeah,
gets so loud and so intense. And by kids, I mean me.
sure. Yeah. So you're laughing now, but I'm curious as you're sharing, I'm screaming so intensely that it's hurting my throat. What is that like for you to share with me?
I feel embarrassed. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to admit that
Yeah.
I'm doing this, but um if I don't admit it, then it's definitely never going to change, I guess. So, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Thank you, Alan. So there's embarrassment. I'm noticing your eyes are watering a bit.
You always notice these things.
I do. Yeah, I do. Is there something else beside embarrassment, or would you say the tears is embarrassment?
Sadness that I could be the one upsetting my kids.
Yeah. Yeah. We're just going to invite that sadness here, Alan. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the little kid that's in trouble. Like I'm putting myself in
Okay.
trouble because I've like done something wrong in hurting my
Okay.
kids.
You're being caught in like
Yes.
misbehaving.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a
By the
misbehavior.
authority figure. Yeah, well, it takes a lot of courage, if you don't mind me labeling this moment, for you to be honest with someone like me, who is an authority figure in this session.
Yeah. Well, and I think like I feel myself wanting to do better. So
Okay.
talking about a time when I'm not doing very well is just like
Yeah,
I'm not I'm not being who I want to be.
you're not being who you want to be. Okay. So there's a very clear part within you that's saying, I want to do better,
Mhm.
but then I'm not being who I want to be. Is it okay if I make a guess here?
Sure.
The do better part. Why I'm curious about this is because typically just wanting to change our behavior as a parent, I won't say that it's not enough of a impetus for change, but it's typically not the root of our desire to understand, why am I screaming and scaring my children? What is happening? I wonder if what we could clarify as an intention together today is gaining understanding and compassion for why it is your body and your brain becomes so stressed to the point that the only way for you to cope in that moment is to release that stress energy onto your children.
Yeah, that would be amazing. And I already feel better hearing you say that it's my body and my brain. It's not like me
Allyn, yeah,
all the time.
because you
Like,
did already tell me that part within you that knows that this is not me. This
mhm.
isn't me. This is just struggling to cope or struggling to access other ways of handling the moment.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
just, acknowledging the eyes are still watering. So I want to be mindful that I'm not talking too much. Let's drop into the body a little bit. If it would be okay with you, maybe put our hands on our heart
That's
together.
right.
Ah, yeah. Let's just slow down a bit. So you're looking at me and smiling. I'm wondering if we could close our eyes and just allow yourself to really be with Allyn. You could even forget that I'm here. And remember, you have breath. Are you noticing anything? Is the sadness shifting, growing?
Hmm. I think it's like sinking away.
Okay. Yeah. And I'll name clearly, Allyn, that me inviting you to connect with your body and feel that emotion rising, it's not because I want that emotion to go away.
Mhm.
It's more like giving it the space that it needs to be felt. So it can, do you notice your mind is a little more clear?
Mhm.
Have you
Yes.
let yourself feel that? Right. So we can do our mental processing without so much emotion flooding through our system.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Okay.
think just, it wanted to be seen. It wanted someone to know it was there.
Right.
So now it's like,
Right.
okay, cool. I'm fine.
Okay. Okay, so let's use this as a doorway then, because we just had a little micro moment of emotion rising, maybe stress in your nervous system. And instead of reacting or suppressing it, we had an access point of meeting it, understanding it, feeling it, and then letting it move through us. And essentially, that's the same process that we're seeking in those extreme moments of high stress, high emotion, where your system is going scream. It's building that into those moments. How does that sound?
I think it makes sense. And I seemed like in this conversation, we came into the sadness slowly, and it seems like the anger, it like is a flash. It's not slow.
Takes you over, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the process of co-regulation, Allyn. On your own, in those moments, you're focused on something, you're finally getting to the laundry, it's been building up, you have 5 more loads to get to, then it's dinner, and then it's bedtime, and it's all over. You have a mental load that is always there. And perhaps this was the first moment of focus and peace that you had in your day. There was relief that your kids were finally playing on their own without interrupting you. And then you hear the screaming, and it all just crumbles, and the anger flashes up.
Yeah.
So I hear you and I validate. It's like, well, Rebecca, it was really easy to check in and move through my sadness when it's here. But in those moments of shock, surprise, and intensity, how am I going to be able to access this?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why we practice together.
Yeah.
Are you up for practicing and exploring that with me?
Sure.
Okay. So what we have been working on is some education for you about your autonomic nervous system. You know, we have this branch of nerves inside of our body, and it is dictating our stress levels. It's helping our body orient itself to our internal, external environments. I've shared with you information that when we're in high stress, we can go to a fight, flight, shut down, or collapse within your system.
Yeah.
And if you were to take a guess, where do you say that your nervous system is going in those moments of interruption, explosive anger?
Oh, for sure. Fight. Like I am going to come at this and I'm going to make it stop somehow.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's how you're designed to respond to, let's say your kids are in conflict. They're also in fight. And we are neurobiologically wired to respond to our children's nervous systems. So of course, not only are you being interrupted and you're carrying the mental load and you're just finally getting a break, your kids are in fight. So your nervous system rises up, and you just gave me some really great information, which is your nervous system's rising into fight, and it's activating certain neural pathways in your brain. And those neural pathways in your brain are saying, oh, I'm going to go and stop this.
Yes, like, watch out, here I come.
Watch out. Like, okay, can you meet that within yourself right now and just let it ride a little more? What else does that voice inside of you say? If you could just bear it all out here with me, Allyn, go for it.
Why are you doing this to me?
Why are you doing this to me? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, I don't have time for this.
I don't have time for this. Yes.
Yeah. I don't want to deal with this.
I don't even want to deal with this right now.
It has to stop. It has to stop. I don't want to deal with it.
Yes, this has to stop. I don't want to deal with this. And maybe could there be a part that's like, I can't handle any more of this?
Yeah, that's like for F's sake, like now, like, yeah, like I can't do anything. So I can't handle that. I've got to make that stop.
Mhm.
because there's like, I can't handle it. So it has to stop.
Mhm. Absolutely. So there's themes of you doing this to me as
Mhm.
though, I use this word with respect, the victim of your circumstance, as though your
Yeah.
children are the perpetrator and you
Yeah.
are the victim here, which
Yeah.
let's hold that. We don't need to make that bad or wrong or silly. It just is. There's also, I don't have time for this, which is that I'm guessing the mental load and the scarcity within.
Yeah. Feels like I'm running around, and if things would go well, then maybe I could get things done. And then when things don't go well, then it's just like more pressure.
And then there's the I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Want to do this. So it's going against your will. You have resistance to it.
Mhm.
And then there's the like this, what is that? It starts with the D. It's not desperate. It's this feeling of I can't handle any more of this. Does that resonate with you? Do you feel
Yeah.
that?
Just like
Ugh.
enough is enough. Like I've had it,
Yeah,
I've had enough. I've given enough. Like just,
just
yeah.
stop.
Yeah.
No, so Alan, really like let's hold all of this within you with understanding, because in an instant, hearing your children scream, your nervous system is firing into fight, and
Mhm.
all of these different channels in your brain are on fire. That's happening for you.
Mhm. What's happening for me? I just, it's almost like everything goes blank, and I
Mhm.
just like,
Yeah.
I go blank and my body just does whatever
Right.
is
Alan kind
getting.
of
Like
dissolves,
I'm
and your
gone.
your protectors and your fight responses, they're up to bat.
Yes.
Could I make a guess for
Mhm.
what we could focus on?
Sure.
So our ultimate goal together, Alan, and we may not arrive there today, but within a few sessions, I fully believe that we will be able to access this, is that there's going to be more space.
Mm.
That jolt, that blackout moment of like, "Bruh, I will conquer." It can still rise up, but you're going to be able to differentiate yourself from this response and access Allyn.
Mm. Okay. Yeah.
And that's going to be with practice here by bringing the co-regulation into those moments, and then being able to imagine yourself taking a different route.
Okay.
Okay, so right now there's clarity and what's going on inside of your body and your brain. And as I connected those dots for you, I saw the tears start to rise again. What was that like for you to hear me share with you? You make sense. Here's what's happening.
Part of me thinks, well, if it makes sense, then why
Why?
can't I keep doing that?
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
know, but the impact of continuing to do that is where the change needs to happen. Like
I
I'm
see.
not by myself, so it has an impact on my kids, and so that's the bigger picture.
Okay.
I'm also noticing a little skepticism, like
Okay.
oh, I believe that there can be pause, but I'm not sure I can believe what else there is after the pause.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So let's bring all three of these different sides to the table right now. I'm hearing you say, like, well, if it makes so much sense, why can't I just keep doing it? It's a very valid way of responding, considering all the stuff that's happening in me. Like, yeah, of course I'm going to be screaming. And then there's another side that's saying, well, look at the bigger picture, Alan. Yeah, it makes sense why you're showing up like that. And it's valid that you're struggling in the way you're struggling. I'm sensing as tears are coming again, like
It's for the kids. It's like not
Kids,
even
exactly.
about me. It's about them.
Right. So you're saying, look at the bigger picture, Allyn. Yeah, you make sense, but seeing the way that this impacts my children, I mean,
I want to do better.
you want to do better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is that?
Which one? What's that I want to
What's
do
the doing
better?
better?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, we could play around with how you define that. I think it's different for everyone. If you were to give yourself a chance to define doing better, what does that look like for you?
It's like I almost don't want to let go of the anger. Like
Okay, I
that's
get
going
that.
to be there. I don't even think I can expect myself to not have that be there. But doing better would be some version of that showing up, but not aiming it at my kids.
Okay. Yes, exactly. So you're taking this even wider, which is working on cultivating access to a pause. So anger is happening. Allyn is a human being with a nervous system and a brain. She's human. She's going to be having experiences. And I'll say, Allyn, in our work together, that anger and fight response will soften.
Mm.
So two things are true there. And we're going to work on differentiating yourself from your system and having more access to what you're saying is a healthy, effective, productive way of expressing that mobilizing energy that
Yeah.
that wants to come out, but not putting it onto your children's systems, hearts, and brains, not harming the relationship.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, I'm 100% on board with that. And I believe you about that first part. I just
Okay.
can't really imagine myself there yet. Sounds
Sure.
great.
Yeah.
And I believe you. And if we can, if it was just this first part of, yeah, the differentiating,
Okay.
that would feel like a miracle.
Okay. So circling back to the skeptic in the room, I just want to like say, hi, skeptic in the room. I see you over there. And just let them know that they're welcome here. It's okay that a part of you is like, nah, yeah. So it's all right. That can just be here. That doesn't need to get in the way of our progress. So I'm hearing that you have a yes in your system for, okay, I'm willing to see what differentiation looks like for me in those moments.
Yes.
So let's play a little bit. We have about 5 minutes left in our session because this is a micro super speed session. But let's practice our co-regulation in those hot button moments. Okay. So it's really important, Allyn, that we're not slipping away from the present moment and falling into your memory of what stress feels like in your system. But we are here together right now. And that you can borrow my safety and my call at any time. I've got you. Okay.
Got it.
Okay. So let's intentionally call in to our system that fight response. If you just let that kind of rise, I'm sensing it, it's rising up, I'm getting tight, hot, I'm getting like cuss words are wanting to come. Oh, I'm getting uncomfortable. Is that rising in you?
Yes, it's like bubbling and gurgling here and
Yeah.
like give me something.
So do you want to be animals with me? Would that be fun?
Sure.
Yes.
Yes.
What does your body want to do right now? Just follow
Oh,
it.
it wants to leap and pounce and like smash.
Jaguar Hulk smash.
Yes.
That's what your body's wanting.
Yes.
Yes. And what does that feel like to let that impulse move through you and let that be okay?
It like, and actually like just doing that, it's like already I don't feel like I need to do it as much anymore.
Okay, so it's moved.
Yeah, like
Okay.
I bounced
Yes.
and now I'm just checking.
So you're going to become Jaguar Hulk mom in those
Okay.
moments. Yes, I know it sounds really silly, but let's look at this scientifically here. If we're looking at yourself as a child, where 0 through 7, you are just meant to be following your impulses and understanding how to way through those big responses of your system. That's why little kids hit, kick, bite, throw, scream, whatever else they do. They're little Jaguar Hulks.
No, I see
And
that.
most of us, let me know if this resonates with you as a kid, if you try to follow those impulses and release your aggression and release your anger in an animalistic way. I'm not saying like it's okay for kids to hurt people, but they need to release that pent up energy. Most of us were punished, shamed, isolated, criticized, fill in the blank.
Mhm.
Does that resonate with your experience?
Oh, yeah, you just don't get to do those
You
things.
just don't get to do that. And what is the consequence of your, young self not being able to ride those impulses and learn how to express the fight response, anger, frustration? What's the consequence in your life right now?
I can't handle seeing my kids doing that.
Yeah, you haven't found ways of expressing it productively because you
Yeah.
haven't been able to practice.
Yeah.
Okay, so just like with our kids, if they are frustrated, screaming, hitting, kicking, we're supporting them to process those big emotions. Their nervous system is on fire, and we're helping to facilitate and guide that. Maybe not in the moment, redirecting them to a different strategy, but outside of the moment, we're talking about it. We're playing with them. We're giving them different ideas. That's what I'm doing here with you right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, does this make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So this might be a really silly way to end our session. For you to
I'm
play,
okay with silly.
great, for you to play around with. And honestly, Allyn, I don't have a request or an expectation for you to execute this into your week unless it feels accessible. But where we can start, a very gentle first step is what we practice here together. Bring in that mobilizing energy. Imagine you doing the laundry and your kid is interrupting or screaming or they're mauling each other. Feel what your body wants to do. Watch yourself want to go into that. You're doing this to me. I don't have time for this. I don't want to do this. I can't handle this. And then practice releasing that in a way that is not onto the children.
Okay. So I get to be Jaguar.
Yes.
Scream things that I regret.
Yes. And exactly. So Allyn, can you tell me, so I know that you have clarity. Why are we practicing this? What's the point of this? Like, pretend you're Jaguar Hulk mom. Why?
It's me training myself to let these things come through. And so I'm like on one level, letting myself have this experience because I didn't when I was younger, and being able to help my kids have the time to have this kind of experience now because they are kids.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Does your system, say your heart, your body, your mind, are you able to access trust that this is the first step in our process together and we're going to keep growing and learning?
Yes. Yeah.
And of course, the goal is not perfection. But what I see for you, Allyn, is that those blackout moments of rage and fight are going to happen a lot less frequently, will be a lot less intense, and your need to through those moments won't be as strong, where you'll get to a point of like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling annoyed.
Yeah.
Okay, I can do this. And then you're able to just show up. You won't have to go through an aggression release per se. You'll be able to just deep breath and then on to reality.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
So right now you're saying like, don't wait for the next moment where I feel like I'm going to explode, but like, okay, drop the kids off at school, come back, and I, have a moment and I can like conjure that like jaguar and I can practice like releasing the jaguar.
Yeah,
And,
that's
like,
one way of doing it for
okay.
certain. Does that mean I follow your guidance here? Does that feel like the right next step for you?
It feels possible because I think if I let myself do that, then it just, I don't, it's like I imagine myself like a pressure cooker, like
Yes.
rather than waiting until it all explodes, like I can release the pressure by doing
Yes.
that in little bits.
Yes.
That's how my mind is interpreting.
Okay. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, great. So next week, Allyn, we're going to check in on how this practice has been for you. I love that you use the word training. That sounds like it's coming from a very open mind, that you're willing to see this as my nervous system needs support. It needs training because right now it's going fire onto
Yes.
children. And what we're wanting to train a different set of muscles is fire. I can handle this. I have another way of moving through this extreme sensation and emotion. And then I can show up with maybe a little bit or a lot of bit more self and presence and leadership for my children.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. How are you feeling?
Excited. It's almost I'm back to that little kid that like earlier I was like punishing myself, but now I feel like the little kid that just got like a free cookie. Like, like I get a free cookie. I get to be like Jaguar Hulk. Like,
Isn't that sweet?
yeah.
Yeah, so imagine when children are struggling, misbehaving, doing
Mhm.
hurtful things, instead of getting in trouble from their parent, they're able to be taken in and said, what's going on for you?
Yeah. Not
That
giving a
makes
real cookie, but like giving the love.
guidance, the guidance. Can I
Yeah.
guide you here? Of course, that's happening for you, honey. That's super stressful. Your body, your brain. Yes. And there, let's keep practicing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so
Yes.
that sounds like what I'm seeing is that child in you is like,
Thank you.
thank you. Yeah.
It's what I've always wanted.
Yeah. No more being in trouble, Allyn. It doesn't help anyone.
So true.
Yeah. Well, I'm not
Thank
going to
you.
leave while there's still tears in your eyes. So let's just be here together.
We're gonna be here all day then.
Oh, I'm fine with that.
This is excitement and like relief, a lot of
Yeah.
relief that,
Yeah.
yeah.
Can I ask you a potentially strange question?
The stranger, the better.
Okay. If we were to pinpoint somewhere in your body right now, where does relief sit?
In my gut, like the top of my gut.
Okay. There's
Yeah.
relief. Maybe it's not so tight and tense anymore. There's a bit
Yeah.
more.
More ooey gooey.
Breathe. Yeah. If you're willing, Allyn, just to close, if putting your hands here on your body. And this is where we get to get all kinds of Rebecca which is, if this relief had a voice for you, a message for you, Allyn, what would it say? Let's just listen.
You'll be all right.
Yeah. Thank you, Allyn.
Thank you, Rebecca.
I'll see you next week.
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, so in the meantime, if anything comes up for you, please send me an email. I am here and I'll be thinking of you.
Absolutely. Thank you. I know I can count on you.
Yay! Okay, bye.